my dad is drunk and stoned in the kitchen table. I'm 7 years old. When he looks at me, he says, "Son, my life sucks, and yours is going to suck as much." A year later, he walks out on me, my mom, my two little sisters, Esther and Karina. And I haven't seen him since. How about you? Has anyone ever tried to convince you that you have no future? When I was in middle school, my reading and writing were below a 5th grade level. I couldn't do math. And I was undocumented, meaning that I didn't come to this country the right way. That the government, this government, could come any day into my home and legally take me away and deport me back to Mexico. When I told my 8th grade math teacher that I wanted to go to Purcell Marion, a Catholic high school, he said, "You won't make it through the front door." He wasn't the only one. My aunt, my own blood, said, "Jose, you're a good for nothing, and you're not going to amount to anything." How about you? Has anyone ever written you off before you ever had a chance? When I was in kindergarten, my teacher called my mom and told her, "I think there's something wrong with Jose and he needs to be tested." So my mom took me to Children's Hospital, and after all the tests, the doctor said, "Miss Cabrera, he learns something one day and forgets it the next day." All I heard was he's stupid and he can't learn. How about you? Have you ever felt like you're stupid and you can't learn? I was born in Mexico, dirt poor, meaning I had no floor. I stepped on the same ground that I stepped when I walked outside. We had our home, our walls, and our roof were thin aluminum strap. No running water, no electricity. We had one bed that me and my parents all slept in. We had a bucket that we would fill it up with water and we would bring it into the house. When the bucket was empty, we flip it over and sat on it. When we went to the restroom, we had to go outside, dig a hole, poop and pee in it. My parents didn't want me to live like that. So when I was 4 years old, they snuck me across the border into the United States. And a few years later, my father walked out. And we were evicted from our home and became homeless. My mom eventually got a job. She would clean houses in the morning and clean tables at CC's Pizza at night. She would work her butt off just so she can get a small 1-bedroom apartment in Evanston. All we had was one bed where me, my two little sisters, Esther and Karina, and my mom all slept in. We ate rice and beans every day. We had a garbage bag that had all of our clothes in it. And we lived every day with the fear of being evicted again. But when I went outside, I saw the drug dealers riding their new Mercedes-Benz, their new BMW, with these golden chains thicker than my arm. And one day, one of them came up and said, "Hey little man, let me holler at you for a minute. You want to be like me? Alright then, hold this, sell this, and then we'll give you some of this. That's how I'm gonna have you start off. Alright? For sure." When my mom saw what I was doing and who I was becoming, not only did she whoop me, not only did she ground me and tell everyone who I was becoming, she went out and got me a mentor. He's actually right here. That's David. She hoped that David could teach me the only way out of the poverty we were living in wasn't selling drugs. And David did that. And what I saw it as, he gave me a map. And when I started following this map, I found myself a freshman in high school. My little sister Esther, who was 11 years old, could read and write better than me. I still couldn't do math. I was still undocumented, but now I was selling drugs too. So I busted my butt. I didn't go out to parties. I didn't have fun. Every night I was up late studying, just so I could catch up to everyone who was in my remedial classes. I was trying to catch up to all of the remedial students. But in 4 years, I graduated with a 3.6 GPA. I was in first honors all through high school, and I got accepted to Xavier University. So, do you guys want me to teach you a little bit about that map that I was talking about? Yeah? Alright. I like to call it, appreciate it, man. I like to call it 3 power moves. These things, you can start doing them right now. You don't need anything special. And they're very simple. The first one is work for what you want. Meaning you have to grind. You have to hustle for whatever you want in this life. Do you want to know what I got on my first exam in college? Do you want to know? I got a 0.5 out of 100. I got less than a point. And when I went to my professor and I told him what happened, you know what he said? "I gave you a 0.5 because you spelled your name right. Son, you don't belong here. You gotta go." I've had people my whole life telling me that I couldn't do it, that I didn't belong. So I did what I did in high school. I grind. Most of the days, I was running on 3 hours to sleep. I would skip meals. There were weeks when I would not sleep. I went to Xavier University. I could get free tickets to a basketball game, and to this day, I still haven't been to a Xavier basketball game because I was too busy working. And last May, I graduated from Xavier. And a week from today, I'm going to be in a car driving to Washington, D.C. for my new job, where I'm going to be working at a lobbying firm. Do you guys know what lobbying is? Do you know, have you guys ever been in Washington, D.C. in the Capitol building that has that big old dome? where all the senators and representatives are at, and they pass laws and bills. All right, so their lobbyists, they would come up and talk to these representatives and these senators, and they would try to persuade them to pass a law or a bill. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. But I'm going to be making sure that the laws and bills that they pass better our communities and better the situation we're living in right now. And I only got to this point because I worked for what I wanted. The second one, use the magic of maybe. Everyone always told me, Jose, you can't do this. Jose, you'll never do this. Jose, you're good for nothing. So I found that if I turned those no's and nevers into maybes, then my whole world changed. I remember one day I was driving with David, and David's trying to tell me, hey, I want you to do this. I can't remember what it was. But I'm sitting in this passenger seat, and I said, nah, bro, because that's what I call him. Bro, I'm not smart enough, and I'm not rich enough. I don't think I can do this. When I said that, he turned the car on the side of the road, he turned it off, and he gripped the wheel for a minute. And then he said, don't you ever tell me that you can't do something because you're not rich enough or you're not smart enough. And if you do, I'll kick your ass. Do you understand me? I have never been more afraid in my life. And I've had drug dealers point a gun to my head. But that moment, I almost pissed my pants, man. After that day, I turned, I'm not smart enough and I'm not rich enough to maybe I'm smart. Maybe I can do this. Maybe I can graduate from high school. Maybe I can go to college. And maybe I can graduate from college. And my world flipped upside down. Use the magic of maybe. The last one. Third one. Help the person to your right and to your left. Now look, when you start helping someone out and they're in a rough situation as you, something inside of you happens. You are reminded that you're a human being, that you have worth and that you have value. One of my other mentors, his name's Don Sherman. And one time when I was 13 years old, he took me to this church. And he said, look, we're going to go to this church and someone's going to share the story and just come out with me. It's like, okay, all right. We pull up to the church, we walk inside, and he says, hey man, so remember how I told you that we're going to listen to someone share their story? I said, yeah. Yeah, well that's going to be you. And here's the agenda, your name's right there, and you see that chair over there? Yeah, that's where you're going to have to sit and talk. I've been sharing my story like I'm doing right now since I was 13. And every time I do this, I found that I help someone who's going through a difficult time. And they make it less bearable that their problems. And when that happens, I'm reminded that I have value, that I have self-worth. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and share your story with the whole world. Nah. I'm talking about those little things. Those little things help someone open the door. If their books or some of their stuff fell, help them pick it up. If they don't have a pencil because they're late to class or they lost it, give them your extra pencil. It's these little things that you help them with, that you make their life a little less, you make their life a little more bearable. And when you do that, you remind yourself that you have value, you have self-worth. Look, here at Dawn, you have teachers and staff members that are willing to help you out. If you are a Dawn staff member, teacher, could you please stand up and keep your hand up raised? Look at them. They are right there. I want you, if you really want to change your life, if you really want to do something, I want you to go up to them and say, hey, could you be my accountability partner? I want to do what Jose did. And I want to start following this, but I need you to keep me honest with myself and remind me that I'm in this journey. And I'm sure they're gonna hold you to it. I've also been in high school like you guys. And when they used to bring people like me to come and talk about this stuff, I used to make fun of them. And I'm sure some of you're gonna go out here and you're gonna make fun of me, and that's okay, that's cool. But there was some times when I felt that I really wanted to do that, but I couldn't do it because I just made fun of this guy. And if you're that person and you still want to do this, go up to them and say, look, I want to do this, but I don't want everyone to know that I'm doing this. So can you and me, between you and me, just keep me honest? And I'm 100% sure that they'll keep it just between you and them. This is not going to be easy. It's not going to be hard. It's going to be hard. You're going to have a lot of outside forces and inside forces who are going to resist this. We're going to do everything they can to make sure you don't follow this. But you have to keep working. You have to grind through it. And you know what? Just pick one. Just pick one of these three. And keep doing it. And when you feel comfortable, pick another. And then maybe by the end of this year, you're doing all three. And if you honestly do one of these for a full year, a year from today, I guarantee you, you're going to be at a different place. And if I'm allowed to come back and talk with you guys again, I want to hear how this journey went with you. I want to hear how it changed your life. But you have to put in the work. You have to be honest with yourself, and you want to have to do this. No one else is going to do this for you. I did the work, and I'm here right now. You can do the work, and you could be doing bigger things than me in a few years. Alright? Thanks, y'all. You don't have to clap.